Welcome to the Michael Singer podcast, presented by Sounds True, in partnership with Shanti Publications. For more information about Michael Singer's work, access to all prior episodes, and information about upcoming releases, we invite you to join us at michaelsingerpodcast.com.
Jackard of Zen Masters. The word mind is normally used as a noun, the mind. Back in the early 70s, when people started coming out here, I kiddingly started a club. And if you wanted to hang out here, you had to join the I Don't Mind Club. That's mind as a verb. Would you mind if I borrow your car? Would you mind if I borrow your wife? I like mind as a verb. Kind of neat. We don't have to use it that way. What does it mean to mind? It means what I just said. If I come up to you and mention a word, your mind goes blah, 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 blah. Like a leaf drops into a still lake. The mind starts going, doesn't it? About everything until there's wavelets on top of wavelets on top of wavelets until you don't know what it's like to not have those wavelets. You are always minding. It's always saying something. That is the verb use of the word mind. You are minding. You don't need anything, a leaf from outside, to drop into your lake. It does just fine by itself. In fact, each one of the ripples, you mind the ripples. Then they cause other ripples that you mind, and then other ripples that you mind, until there's nothing going on in there except ripples. So much so that most people have no idea that they're minding everything. They mind everything. Do you mind what happened to you yesterday? Yeah. Do you mind what happened to you 20 years ago? Yeah. Do you mind what your mother said? Yeah. Do you mind that your sister got the bite? Yeah. This is a beautiful use of the word mind because we're so lost in it, we don't even understand what's going on. Spirituality is about quieting that to where you are no longer minding. How does one get there? Through force, through meditation, through discipline, through renunciation. There's so many things that people teach you. You get there by not minding. That doesn't mean you stop the mind. You stop minding. Until you stop minding, you will not stop minding. Do you mind the weather? Do you mind when it's hot? Do you mind when it's cold? Do you mind if you drop something on your pants or your blouse? Do you mind the driver in front of you that they didn't use their blinker? As long as you're minding, that mind is going to be making ripples. So the answer is not to suppress the ripples. The answer is not to be able to sit there and be disciplined enough to make your mind stop making ripples. Why? There's a reason it's making ripples. You don't fight that. You deal with that. Buddhists say work at the root. The root of why your mind is noisy, and it is because you mind things. And when you mind them, your mind minds. So the spiritual path is not about suppression. It's not about renunciation. What is it you would renounce? Do you renounce things you don't mind? No, you renounce things you mind. So that's all you're going to do. Well, the question is not to renounce what you mind, is why do you mind? There is no reason to mind. You can use your mind to think. That's very different. You can use your mind to logic. You can use your mind to create. You can use your mind to do all kinds of, it's a beautiful thing. It's like a computer. The computer sits there until you want it to do something. And then it does it for you and with you. That's wonderful. What if it just started computing by itself? Minding. Just you go there and spewing, okay, you can't even use it. Because you can't use your mind. You hear me? You have no idea how smart you are. I don't care what they tell you. I don't care what your SAT score is. I ask the following question. You're about to take your SATs for high school to get into college. You've been studying, doing wonderful. You go in there and take the test. What just so happens that one day before the test, your boyfriend or girlfriend breaks up with you and starts dating your best friend, do you think it will affect the score on that test? All right, well, then you don't know how smart you are, do you? Because you've always got that junk going on inside your mind. You have to use your intelligence on top of the garbage. Good luck. Do you get distracted by your thoughts? I'm glad you said yes. Most people would say, no, I'm not distracted by my thoughts, because they are their thoughts. They think they are their thoughts. They don't understand they're being distracted by their thoughts all the time. They think it's supposed to be that way. So what it means to work with yourself spiritually is to question, not what do I do about the fact that I mind? Why do I mind? What your mind says to you is, I mind. Because it does. And then it says to you, how do I get things the way I want that I mind that they're not that way, or whatever the heck it is? And it's just busy in there on top of itself doing all that garbage. The question is, why do I mind? Let's start with small stuff. Why do I mind? Why does the mind how the driver in front of me is driving? Why does it mind? I like to drive aggressively. All right? Basically, I will pass somebody. I still do. I still let him do it. The person's driving a little bit slow, 5 miles on the speed limit, whatever it is. It's a 2-lane highway, so it's not all that safe. But I'm safe. I watch, and I pass. And I get going 5 miles above the speed limit. He's going 5 miles under. And I get to a stop sign. He pulls up right behind me. Isn't that neat? And sometimes he gets embarrassed that he passed, and then the person pulls right behind me. The person must think I'm a schnook. I'm minding to pass. I'm minding what the person thinks about me. I'm minding how he's driving. Can you relate? Or should I be ashamed? Do you see what I mean by the word mind? You mind everything, don't you? So you start, I'm telling you, I've done this for 55 years. You finally catch on. It's not about what you're doing, about this, about your clothes, about what you eat, about what you believe, about renunciation, about anything of what you've done in your past, about your karma. It's not about any of that. It's about, why do I mind everything? Because as long as I mind everything, I'm going to mind. And you know what spiritual ego is? Regular ego is, I mind what people think about me, I mind this, I mind that, I mind blah, 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 blah. Okay? Spiritual ego is, I mind whether they think I'm spiritual. Don't I? It's all the same. The question is, why am I minding things? Because if I didn't mind, what would happen if you didn't mind? Let me ask you a question. Sometimes the lines on the road are yellow, and sometimes they're white. Do you mind? Never even thought about it. Well, that's beautiful. You're at peace with the white and the yellow lines. Well, it could be that way about everything. Doesn't mean you don't interact with it. It just means you don't mind. And if you don't mind, you're clear when you interact with it. If you mind, you're disturbed when you interact with it. What would it mean to not mind? I'm glad we're discussing this. Let's start with the simple stuff. The driver's driving in front of you, 2-lane highway, it's busy, you can't do anything. They're driving 10 miles an hour below the speed limit, and you're in a rush. Ever in there? Yeah. Okay, do you mind? Yeah. Okay. Is the driver in front of you creating the disturbance inside your mind, or are you creating the disturbance inside your mind? What if you didn't want to go to work? And you got caught up in an accident, not yours, but somebody else's, and you got held up, and you had to be late for work. Do you mind? No. Thank you. Thank you. You see, you're doing it. You decide when to make yourself neurotic. It's so rich, isn't it? Such a simple discussion. Well, why would you decide to make yourself neurotic? Is it fun to be neurotic? Is it fun to worry? Is it fun to get anxious? Is it fun to get uptight? Then why are you doing it? No, the drivers in front of me is doing it. They are not. There's a line in the new book that Oprah said was her favorite line in Living Untethered. It said, the moment in front of you is not bothering you. You are bothering yourself about the moment in front of you. What she just said to you, it's just something that came out of somebody's mouth. This is sound. Why did it bother you? Because you decided to let it bother you. This is called waking up. Wake up. You're doing it. The world is not doing it. You're doing it. You're minding things. Do you have to? Of course not. I'm sitting there holding something that's heavy and my arm is hurting. There's absolutely no reason in the world I'm holding that except I decided to. And I'm complaining. Oh my God, my arm hurts. How long do I have to hold this? Well, why are you holding it? I don't know. Well, stop holding it. Stop minding. Stop bothering yourself. So you start practicing this. It's called learning. This is spiritual practice. Meditate all you should. I'm not telling you not to. Meditate all you want, do all the mantra you want, do all your asanas, everything. You want real spiritual practices? The driver in front of you is driving slower than your mind wants it to. Can you relax instead of complaining? Because complaining does no good except cause you disturbance. All right, let's get real. Have you ever talked to the driver in front of you? Thank you. Thank you. Make me feel better. Have you ever talked to the driver in front of you? Nice blinker, buddy. Come on. You see the street sign, it's 55 miles an hour. You're going 40. Did they hear you? Did it affect their lives one iota? Did it affect yours? Okay. So now we're having a nice, honest discussion about spiritual growth. That is not an entirely intelligent thing to do. I went through business school, right? Cost-benefit analysis. Ever heard of it? What's the benefit of doing that inside your head about the driver in front of you? 0. What's the cost? 100%. Oh, let's make that decision. You get thrown out of any board meeting you ever sat at, okay? Why are you doing that? Why are you not paying attention? Why don't you make rational decisions? Spirituality is not irrational. It's completely rational because I'm defining this as spirituality. I'm going to tell you a secret. When you learn not to mind, naturally, you will be at peace and you will feel Shakti and God pouring inside of you without doing a single thing. It's always pouring inside of you. That's where you get to realize that. It is always pouring Shakti, rising up, bliss, beauty, all the time. Well, why don't I feel it? Because you're busy hanging out with your mind. Whatever I stare at is what I'm experiencing. If I stare at you, I don't see anybody else. If I stare at your nose, I don't see anything else. Basically, whatever I stare at, that's my life, isn't it? Isn't that my world? If I'm not conscious of it, I don't see it. If I'm conscious of it, that's all I see. You are staring at your mind all the time. Therefore, that's what you see. The fact that God and complete ecstasy is all around you, you will never know that till you stop staring at your mind. So to learn for the mind to be naturally quiet so it doesn't distract you and keep your consciousness is spiritual practice. It's the core of spiritual practice. They can give you practices. I'm telling you the daily moment-to-moment things that you can do that stop that mind from doing what it's doing. You're telling it to complain. You tell it it's hot. I don't like that it's hot. Oh my God, why does it have to be so hot? Maybe I shouldn't live here, but I like living here, but I have a good job, but it's hot. What are you doing? What is all that about? It's meaningless. Learn to not do that. And that is a spiritual practice. And it is something you can do every single moment of your life as a regular practice every single day. And I'm telling you, when you learn to do that as a spiritual practice, learning not to mind about meaningless things, every morning you wake up, you will be a different person that woke up the morning before. That's how fast you will grow. Because every day you have an opportunity to practice not minding, okay? But you practice every day minding. You go out of your way to practice minding. You justify minding. Yeah, but he's driving slow and it made me late for where I was going to. It didn't help one iota to complain. It didn't do anything. It didn't fix your life. It messed up your life. And so what you do is you start practicing this thing called I don't mind. Who wants to join the I don't mind club? How do you do it? You do it by practicing. So here I am, you're driving behind somebody, and whether you can pass them or not is not relevant. We'll get down to advanced course. Let's say you can't pass them. It's not safe, you can't pass them. All right? You're still mind. You still do it. Don't do it. Spiritual is not about doing something. It's always about not doing something. Not getting, not doing, letting go of what you have. So it's about not minding. It's not about getting what you want. It's about letting go of what's causing you to not be okay. So you need things because you don't need anything. You're complete and whole within yourself. Look at me. You're looking for love. You're looking for it in all the wrong places. It's inside. It's always there. There's so much love flowing inside of you right now that you'd pass out if you tuned into it. Ramakrishna, he'd walk around, he'd think of God, his arm would go flying up in the air. Every hair on his body would stand on end. Tears would pour down his eyes. They had to walk behind him because if any moment that sent him into ecstasy and love, he'd fall over backwards. One of his disciples had to walk behind him all the time in case the master went into love ecstasy and fell backwards and stayed there for days. Not bad. I don't mind that. So if you learn to not mind, then the mind will not create all the noise, then you will not be distracted by the noise, and you will not have to do something about the noise to try to fix the noise. Your spiritual state is your natural state. It's filled with love and God and joy and Shakti all the time until you decide to mind about something. Well, I can't feel love if I'm sick. Who said so? You did. I can't feel love if I don't get the corner office somebody else did. How can I feel love then? By not minding. I don't mind. Mazel tov. I'm glad you got the office. I'm telling you, it's all about practicing not minding. When you mind something, you want something to change outside so that it's more comfortable inside and your mind gets more still because it got what it wanted. Good luck, because it's always minding, isn't it? It will not stop. And in fact, you're reinforcing it by saying, I'll get you what you want so you can feel okay. You become a slave to it. It's like a kid throwing a tantrum, and the answer is get him what he wants. No, I don't want to meet the kid when he grows up. Well, I don't want to meet your mind when it grows up because it won't ever grow up. Because you keep giving it what it wants. You keep thinking the answer is to get what it wants, to get what it's minding about. I don't like what you said to me. Don't ever say it again. Promise me. Okay, I feel a little bit better. But I still mind that you said it, don't I? This is a spiritual discussion, isn't it? It is not about struggling with yourself. It's not about doing or getting. It's about wondering, why do I need? You are a great being. You're God consciousness. Ramos used to say, use it to go to God. You are already there. I'm telling you, you are already there. You're in the highest state that could possibly exist, staring at what your mind is doing. Therefore, all you experience is what your mind is doing. It's not like you go get enlightened. You are. You're merged. You're one. Your conscious, your awareness that is aware of my words is the awareness and consciousness that created the entire universe. No, is creating the entire universe. There's only one consciousness, but that consciousness is staring. A ray of that consciousness, a focus of that one consciousness is staring at your mind and your heart, and it's not doing so well. And it is addicted to staring at it. You've never not stared at it unless you went into deep meditation or something happened exactly the way you wanted, the way your mind wanted. Somebody you always were attracted to, that you didn't even know they knew you existed since kindergarten. They were your dream. And all of a sudden, one day in high school, they walked up to you and just said, I've always been too embarrassed to talk to you, but I think you walk on water. And I've always thought that since kindergarten. What happens to you? Bam! You say things like, it touched me to the depth of my being. I felt I was in the presence of God. You were. You were, because you stopped staring at your mind. It got what it wanted, and it was so stunned, it never happens, it blew my mind. Look at your words. It blew my mind. And therefore, it released your consciousness from being distracted by this noise, and you felt this boom. My heart went boom. You feel all this Shakti. They don't understand the word Shakti. A yogi understands the word Shakti. When you feel love, that's Shakti. When your heart blows open, that's Shakti. When your heart closes, you block the Shakti. It's all Shakti. It's all Shakti. All your energetic experiences, every chakra, everything, all of it. It's just Shakti that managed to flow. But it doesn't keep flowing, does it? Why? Because the mind has to get exactly what it wants in order for it to shut up, so that the energy can flow. But then it comes right back. The most beautiful experience you ever had is a problem with you. Why? Because you want to have it again. It bothers you. Does your mind not having it happen again? No, mine's for sure. I'm going to mind the fact that I had a nice experience. It'll bother me for the rest of my life because I never had it again. I want to have it again. Okay? What it's about is learning to not mind more things. The things you don't mind, you're free about. You don't have to go out and work for them. You have to go out and struggle and suffer and worry and suppress. If you don't mind, okay? A cloud is passing by outside. It's a cloud, any other cloud. But it reminded you of the cloud you saw when you were young with your grandfather, and he talked to you about it, and now he's dead and you loved him so much. You mind that cloud. It's not a cloud to you, is it? It's something to mind. And your mind starts about a cloud. To get it to where you're not doing that to your poor mind, what do? Well, start with the driver in front of you. These are what I call spiritual techniques. You might as well be on a meditation pillow. When you're driving with that person in front of you, your mind will start. Do you have to let it do that? Of course not. Of course not. Breathe. Breathe. First, use your rational mind to ask the following question. Is this worth bothering myself about? Is there a benefit to bothering myself about this? And your mind, very intelligent, says, no, there's no benefit to bothering myself. Then why bother yourself? Why bother yourself if there's no benefit to bothering yourself? And don't sit there and say, I'm not bothering myself. That driver is bothering me. It is not. You're bothering yourself about the driver. And there's nothing you can do about it except learn to not bother yourself. How do you do that? Breathe. Breathe. Do a mantra. What I found worked with me is I'd sit there and think, Mickey, you love your grandmother. That's your grandmother. The last year she'll ever get to drive. So she's very cautious, driving very slow. And do you want to tailgate her or beep at her or send bad vibes because you're complaining? Or do you want to say, hey, is that beautiful? The last year she gets to drive. And just make it nice. You get to do anything you want with your mind. If you leave it alone, your mind is not nice. Listen to me. If you leave it alone and don't do anything with it, your mind, the default is not nice. Why would God make a mind? Someone's asked me that. Why did God put that voice inside my head bothering me all the time? God did not put that voice inside your head. You used free will and you chose to put it there. Why? I don't know, but you did. Why is the default state, take a breath, why is the default state of your mind negative? And it is. That's why there's a thing called positive thinking. It's a spiritual practice, isn't it? Positive thinking. Why? Because the thing's negative. If it wasn't negative, there's no need for positive thinking. Why is it negative? It's so easy to discuss. Have you had experiences in your life that were not pleasant? Have any of you had experiences in your life, throughout your life, various experiences that were not pleasant? They just weren't pleasant. What did you do with them? I'm telling you what you did with them. I know you very, very well. They came in, you experienced them. They came in, you experienced them, and you did not like the experience. Who didn't? You, self, consciousness, awareness, you that was aware of it. And you have will. You have the ability to push it away. You have hands in there. You say, no, go away. I don't like this. Yes or no? Do you ever do that? It's called suppression. Not Freudian level, but it's called repression, suppression, resistance. You can resist things in there, can't you? If it is not comfortable to you, you resist it. It's a natural reaction. Throw something at me to protect myself. This comes inside, I protect myself. What do you think happens? It's energy. Everything's energy. It comes in, you feel the vibes, you feel the energy, you feel the experience. The event didn't come in. The energy of the event came in. It came in and you resisted it. What do you think happens to that energy when you resist it? Energy is moving. It's coming in. If you left it, it would pass right through you. It would pass and pour into your consciousness. Be an experience you had. You have experiences all the time. They come in, they pass by, you drive by cars, trees, this and that. They're just coming in and passing through. You're not seeing them. You're just experiencing them, but you're open. Experience them. What happens when you're not open? What happens when you don't like the thing that's coming in and you use will to resist it? Use your inner hands to resist it. The answer is very, very simple. It stays inside of you. I didn't need Freud to tell me that. Yogis thousands of years ago knew about some scars. It creates a pattern of energy inside of you that stays there. For how long? Go ask psychology. Can the fact that they took your blankie away too soon bother you when you're 55 years old? Can the fact that your parents got divorced when you were 3 or 4 and you didn't like your stepdad so much bother you when you're 60? It's still in there. You know that, don't you? Does it come back up? Does any of those things that bothered you in the past ever come back up? Do you hear a word, have smell, see a billboard, see somebody's blouse or their hairstyle or the color of their eyes? Come back up. What's that telling you? It's still in there. Why is it still in there? Because you held it in there. Everything we're discussing so far is saying you're the doer. So maybe holding it in there wasn't so smart, but I didn't want to feel it. Well, good. Don't want to feel it now so you can feel it for the rest of your life. Do you understand how absurd it is to store every single thing that ever disturbed you inside of you? You're going to be disturbed. I've just explained to you why the default state of the mind is negative. You stored negativity inside of you. You're holding it down. What happens when it comes back up? You push it back down. That's my favorite line. You know we don't talk about that subject around your father. What's wrong with Daddy? And Daddy's a mess. Daddy stores some stuff down there, and you don't want to be around when you touch it. He's not nice. Okay? So basically, you get to the point where you understand you have stored this stuff inside of you, and now you're in trouble, aren't you? You stored it inside of you. And now you have to find people that don't hit that stuff. You know, I don't like when you wear that. You know, I don't like, my God, my uncle wore bow ties and it wasn't very nice. I hate bow ties. Stop it. You're taking the garbage you stored inside of you and then dumping it on the world that the whole world is supposed to behave to match your junk or to not match your junk. That's what your desires and preferences are. Like I give talks, the Third Zen Patriarch, one of the deepest spiritual writings ever written, starts off with the following line. The great way is not difficult for those who have no preferences. We can change it to our vernacular. The great way is difficult for those who don't mind. Says the same thing. Where did you get your preferences? Do you have preferences? Are you serious about them? What you like and what you don't like? Where do you think they came from? You think you just one day sat down, I think I'd like it. No. You have suppressed your experiences from the past, some of them positive. You held on to them. You clung. It's called Buddhist clinging. You clung to the ones you liked, and you suppressed the ones you didn't like. And I'm telling you, the ratio is like 1,000 to 1 of ones that you bothered holding on to that you liked versus every day, the driver, the weather, the this, the that, every single experience, what somebody said, what they meant. I know what you meant by that. Whoa, you make a mess in there. You understand that? So it's probably 100,000, 1,000,000 to 1 of things you stored in there because you didn't like it versus ones you held. Ooh, that was so nice. So you got a mess in there. That's what your preferences are. You did not decide your preferences. You suppressed things that you didn't like. Now you don't want them to happen again. And you don't even want things that remind you of them to happen again. So you're practicing piano when you're young. Your parents made you play the piano. You went to a recital and you just blew it completely, right? It was so embarrassing. It was ridiculous. You got tight. You just couldn't handle it, right? Now you don't play the piano. This I can assure you, all right? And now you don't like people that play the piano really well. And now the word recital gives you a stomach ache. And now it's not just piano. Why would people be into instruments, right or wrong? It spreads. It's like a virus down there. Listen to me. You know, we got computer viruses. They spread. They get into all kinds of stuff. When you hold that thing down there, it spreads. It's got a whole area of sensitivity. It doesn't be exactly. Your mother said something to you that you didn't like. Now, if you go to see your mother and she says that again, it bothers you. But also, if you go to see your mother and she says anything, it bothers you. And also, on Mother's Day, you're bothered. People are. People don't do well on Mother's Day. Some people do very well on Mother's Day. It spreads to everything. It goes out there. It can get so extreme, and don't you doubt what I'm saying to you, that you don't want to have children. I don't ever want a child to go through what I had to go through. It's not worth it. I'm not bringing a child down into this world. Not funny, is it? Are we a mess? And guess what we think the solution is? To go to the disturbed mind and say, what do I need to do? What do you want so you're not disturbed? You don't go to a disturbed person and ask how not to be disturbed. They don't know how not to be disturbed. They're disturbed. You're going to get terrible advice. The advice will be, tell her not to say that. Don't ever go talk to her again. Stay away from that. Don't move there. Don't go back to the state that you lived in because they'll remind you. Okay? So you get to the point where you realize you did this, not consciously or willfully. You weren't evolved enough to handle things. You were not evolved enough to handle mommy. You're not evolved enough. Perfectly reasonable. You were a little kid, okay? But you're not a little kid anymore. So you don't need that stuff in there anymore. But you don't know that. There's just so reactionary when it comes back up. You just push it back down. You've always pushed it back down. And you avoid your mother and you avoid this. In other words, you buy into the result of having held that stuff in there. And now your whole life is being governed by the junk that you stored inside. That's why the mind is negative. It's trying to release that stuff and you won't let it. You keep pushing it back down. So now it's just talky. And that's why it minds everything because it's not comfortable. If you're comfortable and you're driving, let's say, all right, you just had the most beautiful spiritual experience you've ever had, but you have to go to work. You're still stoned. You're just pouring through your being. It's nice stuff, all right? And you're driving. The driver in front of you, you're driving 15 miles by the speed limit. Oh, a chance to relax. It doesn't bother you one single iota. Nothing can bother you. Why? Because you're fine. How do you get to that state? You practice. Just like you practice an instrument, you practice a sport. You practice not minding. If I say practice being okay, you don't know how to practice being okay. But practice not minding, since you're the one who's minding, you can practice not minding. Okay? So you're behind the car, you do something about grandma. Or you just get high enough to sit there and say, oh boy, chance to go to God. I'm not going to mind. Your mind is not against you. It seems like it is because it's so impossible to live with, okay? It's not. Your mind is a computer. It loves you. Your mind is trying to make you be okay, right? Careful. She might be talking to somebody else. Check who she's talking to. Look at her phone. Look at the numbers. No, seriously, you're doing this for her because you might... It never does stuff like that, right? It's trying to help you. It's the mind trying to figure out how the mind can feel better. But it's not against you. In its own way, it's trying to help. You need to talk to it. You are the self. You're the consciousness. You have a layer of your mind that is higher than that lower layer of your mind. You have many layers of your mind. You know that. You can be thinking one thing and doing something else going on down there. The lowest level of your mind, that root default level, is because of all this stuff you suppressed inside. You up there that I'm talking to now, you're clearer. You're not enlightened. You're not sitting in witness consciousness, absorbed, established in the self, but you are clearer than that little schnook down there. Help her. Help her. Talk to her. You're driving behind the car. She's starting. Hey, you're okay. Remember last time we pulled up and they pulled right behind us and we bothered to took our lives to pass, right? Talk to her like a child, like you would a child. And then when things happen, like, you have to go visit your mother and you get along with your mother, before you go, quiet down, sit down and say, I'm going to handle this time. And no matter what she says, doesn't matter what goes on, I'm going to watch this energy and I'm going to let it go. I don't want to carry this stuff inside of me. Mommy is my guru. Mother's my guru in that situation. She's going to hit my stuff. I don't want the stuff in there. It's in there all the time, making me make decisions and bothering me about things when I'm not with my mother. I don't want it in there. So when I go visit mommy, I'm going to use that as though she's my guru and she knows where my stuff is. I bet she does. And sometimes she does on purpose. You know that. All right. And I'm going to go there and I'm going to let go. I'm going to hold the hand. I'm going to talk to myself. I'm going to work with it. And I'm going to go into that situation. And I'm going to walk out as conscious when I walked in. It's a video game. Pac-Man's in there trying to eat you. Shows how old I am, all right? It's a video game in there, isn't it? Have fun. You sit there and say, okay, I got this thing in here about driver, about mommy, I don't care what it is, and I'm going to work it through. How? I don't have to purposely, some people say to me, do I have to go down there, find and purposely pull it out? It will find you. It will come up naturally during the course of your life. You don't have to go find it. You just have to be willing to let it go when it comes up. I'm giving you 50 years of experience. You don't have to go there. You don't have to find out why it's there. You don't have to analyze it and find out what was the moment it got. No. You just have to be willing to let it go when it comes up. It's just energy. I told you, when you use your will, and you have will, it's a power of consciousness. Focused consciousness is a power of will. When you use it to push away something inside, a thought, a feeling, that energy has to go somewheres. Well, when it hits the block of your will, energy can't be created or destroyed, and it has to keep moving. Energy, by definition, doesn't sit still. It's momentum. It's moving. How do I push it away? But it stays there. It circles around itself. That's how energy can move and stay at the same place. Okay? That's what's happening. That's a samskara. That's the definition of a samskara, or a karmic pattern, a seed. You push the energy away. It's circling around itself. It has all the smells, the touch, the emotion, everything is packed in there. And when it comes back up, you can feel the same as you felt when you were 5 years old. And emotionally start crying about something that happened when you were 5, when you're 55. That's because you held it in there. You held the exact energy that was trying to pass. The energy of the experience is now stored inside, circling around like that. It will get hit. It doesn't want to be in there. Just like your body does not want bacteria and viruses inside of it. Therefore, there's an entire immune system, isn't there? White blood cells, this, the lymph nodes, all kinds of stuff, to try and purify and keep the body healthy. Your mind is so much higher than your body. The subtle vibration of mind and heart, of emotion, they have their own purification system. They don't want that junk in there. There's this love trying to come up. Your heart is trying to exude love. Your mind is exuding creativity and inspiration all the time. It doesn't want that garbage stuck in there, blocking it. Those are called blockages. You created them by holding that energy inside, those patterns. So now it can't express itself. It wants it out. It's always trying to push it out. That's why they analyze dreams. Because in dreams, your consciousness is not focused on resisting this stuff. Therefore, it comes up, doesn't it? That's why it's always trying to come up. It's your friend. Your mind is trying to be an asset. Your heart is trying to be an asset. But you're shoving all that stuff down there. And every time it comes back up, you try to push it back down. Can your heart hurt? Has your heart ever hurt? Ever have a relationship that didn't work out so good? Does it still hurt? Can it still come back up? Can you hear the person's name? Not even just the name, Ben. That was your ex. Bam, heart hurts. That's because you stored it down there. The answer is not to avoid people named Ben. You avoid the situations that hit your stuff. That's a complete opposite of what's supposed to be going on. You don't want that stuff in there. If you have that stuff in there, you're going to mind all kinds of stuff. It's going to keep pouring up. And it's trying to help you by pushing it up. And you're just fighting it and pushing it down. You're trying to find people, create situations that match your stuff. Do you understand that? I play like that dating game thing on the computers, right? That you go there to find a proper date. They ask you questions. Well, what kind of food do you like? Do you like a tall person, short person? What kind of religion do you prefer? Do you like somebody who likes to take risks or likes to be very cautious? What kind of car do you like? But you're not answering about a person. You're answering about you. Where do you think you got those answers? Oh, but I feel warm if I think about somebody driving a Ferrari, right? I feel totally closed. They're polluting the environment and wasting all that money they could have fed people. And it's based on your stuff inside. You're trying to find you. Look in the mirror. Have a date. Is it not true? You're trying to find you? What if you go out and they forgot to ask, does he slurp his soup? And Uncle George slurped his soup, and you hate Uncle George, or you loved Uncle George. So you go there, all of a sudden there's some soup slurping going on. You either open or close. Based on what? Based on your stuff you held in there. It's running your life. It's your preferences, your hopes, your dreams, your concepts, your views, your beliefs. Everything is built on top of that garbage that you stored inside of you. Your parents made you go to church. Either you go to church and you feel good about it, or you'll never step foot in that place ever again. So your parents are still running your life. No, I'm not. I resisted that. Yeah, they're running your life. All right, you don't want that stuff in there. And that's what makes it so you mind. So you learn not to mind. How do you do it? I told you. You practice. So the driver, I gave you all kinds of things you could do. Get to the point that you like when it comes up. You don't get into a spiritual head where I'm not supposed to have mind, I'm not supposed to mind, I'm not supposed to have trouble, I'm supposed to be open, I'm supposed to love everybody. I don't. I'm supposed to love everybody. No. You have to love that when you're driving behind somebody and they're driving 15 miles below the speed limit, your stuff is coming up. Why? You want it to come up. I'm going to cry. You want it to come up. The same way that you want your fever to get a certain level high so it can kill the bacteria that's in there. You don't want to get into an ice tub because your fever went up a couple of degrees. A lot of degrees. I'm not talking about that. And within reason, if it goes up 99, 100, 101, it's purifying your body. Is it not? There's a reason it's doing that. There's a reason this stuff is coming up. You don't avoid situations that hit your stuff. You naturally allow situations to unfold. You welcome it to come up. Does it hurt? Of course it hurts. It was stored with pain. It's going to come up with pain. Can you handle it? That's when you're spiritual. Spiritual person says, I have a choice. Keep it in there, underneath bothering me, affecting my entire life because it's under there. Spirituality is not about coping with it. It's about getting it out. I care about you. I care about every one of you. I know you don't have to have that stuff in there, and I know what it's like to not have that stuff in there, at least to some degree. Okay? And it's beautiful all the time, period. And it gets nicer and nicer every single day because you handle more and more things. That's what I want for you. And you have to be willing to say, I don't want this stuff in here. I don't want to avoid things that hit it. I don't want it in here. I don't have to go out of my way to get it hit because it gets hit just fine by itself, going through the natural state of life. But I'm going to reach the point where I'm going to learn to let it go. That's what it's all about. And so then you get into these different situations. Driving, it's as silly as it is. The car in front of you is your guru because it's hitting your stuff. That's why I teach you. A lot of times I teach you about how small the planet is. You're probably bored about hearing it. How many Earths fit inside the sun? 1.5 million. That's a very big number. 1.5 million planet Earths fit inside the sun. How important is it, the driver in front of you? How important is it what somebody said? There's 8.3 billion people on the planet. At any given moment, most of them are saying something. Somehow you can handle all the other things that are being said, but not the thing that's being said in front of you. The noise that a mouth is making in front of you is no different than all the noise that all the mouths are making all over the world at any given moment. It's just something somebody's saying, but you can't handle that one because it happens to be said in front of you. I hope you see that as absurd. You're sitting in a planet in the middle of nowheres and there's things happening and you can't handle it. So like I pointed out, it may not work for you, but it's always worked for me. All right? So I'm sitting behind traffic. So he starts doing his thing. I just step off the earth and look down at the earth. I'm scooting around a little planet that 1.5 million fit inside the sun, and there's 300 billion stars in your galaxy, and that little sun is one of them. What exactly can't you handle? That's why I teach you this. It is a spiritual discussion. I'm sitting on a planet, driving around the planet, having different experience. That's what you're doing. You wake up in the morning and you go, I'm back. I wonder what's going to happen today. You don't wonder what's going to happen today. You worry what's going to happen today. Do you see the difference? Who cares? What difference does it make? You're only here for a few years. Go make a mess out of it. That's what it means to not work with your mind. And that's what it means to have that stuff suppressed in there so that the mind worries about everything. And you care what's going to happen today. Because it might happen to hurt me. It might not be what I want. I might not get what I want. I might happen what I don't want. It might hit my stuff. What if I run into somebody that I broke up with 7 years ago and there was somebody really nice and I feel jealous and I don't know. I don't like it. More real? Oh God, I can't believe I said that yesterday. I wonder if it bothered him. I hope I didn't bother him. Should I call him? No. Maybe he doesn't know. Maybe he didn't hit him. If you call him, you bring it back. Whoa. Anybody got a mind like that? Isn't that fun? You send a little planet, spend a little nowhere, and that's what you're doing? That's what you chose to do with your time on the little planet Earth? We have the James Webb Telescope, the Hubble's out there. We have looked everywhere for millions of light years, got exoplanets. No one saw any place ever that you would want to visit for more than 5 minutes. Go to Saturn, you'll fall right through. It's gas. Go to Mercury, you'll burn up. There's nothing going on anywhere. When was the last time nothing was going on around you? Nothing. Not what you like or don't like. Nothing. Never. The earth is a phenomenal place. To me, earth is God's idea of Disney World. It created the whole universe. 300 billion stars in one galaxy, and there's 2 trillion galaxies. And now they believe that almost every star has a planet or two spinning around it. And you landed on one that has all this stuff going on. There's colors and shapes and sounds and people and music and animals. And all you do is be neurotic. All you do is complain. I always wonder why people don't want to die. All they do is complain while they're here. Start learning how to not be bothered so that you can enjoy your time on earth. You don't need things to be a certain way for you to be okay. Look at me. Yes, you need some food, clothing, and shelter. Does not need to be a mansion, does not be nicer than somebody else's. You just need some food, clothing, and shelter. Now, enjoy your time on earth. It's not hard. It's because you suppressed all this stuff, and now you're a mess, and now you need to impress people. You need to have them like you. You don't need people to like you, except that you don't like yourself. What does it mean to be accepted by somebody? Wow, thank God. I wasn't sure I was acceptable. Right or wrong? And the more they dote over you, the more they love you, the more they want to do things for you, you feel better, don't you? Why? Why do you not feel wonderful all the time? You dropped on the nicest planet in the entire universe, as far as we know, and all things are happening. It's exciting. There's things to do. There's computers. Do anything you want. Ride a bicycle, drive a car, anything you want to do. It's unbelievable. But what if my new car got a scratch on it? The moment in front of you is not bothering you. You're bothering yourself at the moment in front of you. Now you get to have a scratch on your car. Isn't that nice? Like it. It's art. It's artwork. Sometimes art looks like a scratch. I've seen it. Will you please stop it? Okay? But you can't while you have that stuff suppressed down there. That's why the mind is spewing these negative things and why it has all these preferences. You need things to be a certain way for you to be okay because you stored that junk down there. Because you're not okay. How's that? Why you're not okay? Because you stored the junk down there. So spirituality is about every minute of every day. It's not about just the time on your meditation pillow. Every minute of every day, life is going to come toward you because you have senses. Thank God. Otherwise, you wouldn't know there's anything out there. And the senses are going to pick up sight, sound, taste, touch, smell. They're going to pick it up, aren't they? And they're going to send it back to you because you're in here. It's going to send it back to you so you get to have an experience, a gift from God. Go to Mars, there's no experience, there's just red dirt blowing around. Okay? Here, there's all these experiences. Everyone is a gift. Everyone's a gift. It's just, there's a snake. Wow. There's a rattlesnake. Oh my God, it's so scary. What an experience. You're having experiences, are you not? They're gifts. The alternative is to have nothing. It comes in and you let it go through. If you don't, you hold it in there, and I'm telling you that your ego, your id, ego, superego, all that stuff that Freud talked about is the stuff you stored in there. Somebody told you how to behave, superego. Body's telling you all kinds of garbage coming up into your mind, right? About your animal instincts and all that stuff. Mind comes up in the mind. So society put it in there. Body put it in there. Their mind doesn't have animal instinctual needs. It's a mind. But it receives the messages from the body. The mind says, I'm hungry. You are not. You don't even have a mouth. You don't even know how to eat. That is the body sending messages, creating thoughts in the mind. That's what the id is. I like Freud. What's the superego? Society has laid a trip on your head. That's 60s vernacular. Okay? And so you have thoughts in your head formulated by mommy and daddy and preacher. And then you're trying to live in there with all this noise. So you develop this thing called a self-concept. Who am I? I'm the one who goes to church. I'm the one who doesn't go to church. I'm the one that had this experience. I'm the one that had that experience. I'm the one that likes this. And you develop an ego. An ego is just a pattern of thoughts that are created in your mind, just like a superego, just like the id. They're just hanging out in their mind. And you're trying to be okay in there. And it's not easy, is it? Because you stored all this mess in there. So spirituality is about welcoming every day. You wake up in the morning and you remember this talk. You say, I'm back. And you'll see fear and anxiety and all kinds of stuff. And you look at it very nicely and you say, hi, morning, your days are numbered. That's all. You don't fight. Don't fight. You don't fight. You don't fight with your mind or fight with your heart. Just, I'm work in process, WIP, and your days are numbered. We're going to work this out. Then get up, go about your business. It's what your dharma. Just brush your teeth, take your shower. Why? I don't, just take your stupid shower. What do I want for breakfast? Just eat something. I told you, I don't know how many years. It's got to be at least 30, 40 years. Go to my closet, open it up. There will be about 6 or 8 of these shirts and 6 or 8 of these pants, all exactly the same. I don't have to think about what to wear. Get it simple. You don't need things. Be okay inside, and you won't care if people like you, and they will love you because they haven't ever met somebody that's okay inside. Doesn't matter what you look like. Doesn't matter what you're wearing. You're emanating a beautiful energy. People are attracted to that, but you don't need them to be. You don't even want them to be. You are a beautiful being. You have made a mess. Undo the mess by letting it go. How? By letting it go. There's the ultimate I don't mind. Okay? She said something to you. Did it hurt? Yes. I don't mind. Whoa. I was willing to let it pass through. She doesn't have to say she's sorry. I have to figure out why she said it. I have to figure out if that means our relationship's going south. I don't mind. I don't mind. I'm okay. I can handle it. I can handle it. If you can handle it, your relationship will be simple. If you don't freak out because somebody didn't act exactly the same when they came home as when they left or didn't do what they wanted them to do, and you just, that's okay. It's okay. I'm okay. I'm okay. It's beautiful. I can handle it. That's a great mantra. I can handle it. Because you say, I can't handle this. I can handle it. I don't mind. Oh, I'm giving you nice mantras. I don't mind. That's a mantra for you. I don't mind. I don't mind. It's raining. I don't mind. I'm going to get wet. I don't mind. Can you do that? Can you practice not minding? Just keep letting go. And what's going to happen is your stuff's going to start coming up. You'll start being able to handle small stuff every day. That's easy, low-hanging fruit. And because you're not shoving more down there, listen to me, there's a warning, because you're not shoving more on top of what you have down there, it's going to start coming up by itself. There's that honeymoon part of the path where you start, oh, this is much better. Oh, look, I'm so happy. And then this stuff's going to start coming up. What happened? Your stuff started coming up. And that's what's supposed to happen. Welcome it. Love it. Talk to it. I can remember, I went through all the stages. I can remember one really amazing stage because I used to fight with it. And then I looked at it and I apologized to it. I looked down at him that I stored down there over the course of my life. And I said, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I shoved you down there. Apologize to your lower self. Don't fight with your lower self. And don't try to make your lower self your higher self. Just look at it for what it is. It's suppressed energy that you shoved down there that has been a mess for a long time. Apologize to it. Reach your hand down and say, you don't have to be down there. I want to help you up. I'm sorry I shoved you down there. Let's work together. I'll stop. Hard to stop. The Gita has a line. It said, one should raise the self with self, not trample down the self. For self that can be self's friend can be self's foe. It's talking about higher self and lower self. Uppercase Atman and lowercase. One should raise the lower self with the higher self, not trample down the lower self. For the higher self that can be lower self's friend can be self's foe. No fighting. Just reach down there, apologize, and don't put more down there. You wait and see what happens to you. You live a life like that. That's true spiritual growth. And you will start being happier and happier, and then stop being afraid. What if you knew to the bottom of your being that you could handle anything that will ever happen to you for the rest of your life? Would that be nice? Good, because you can. Jagrative.
You've been listening to the Michael Singer Podcast, produced by Sounds True in partnership with Shanti Publications. For more information on Michael's body of work and all back episodes, please join us at michaelsingerpodcast.com. Thanks so much for listening. Sounds True, waking up the world.